A long, long time ago, in the most ancient of times, in the land of ageless wisdom, existed a city among cities, in a place where the holiest of holy light shined, the most omnificent illumination that only the chosen beings, lords of the land and host of the Most High, were allowed homage. The most precious of lights could be seen from afar, far away, but only the luminescence was seen. This exalted city was a place where only the most highly evolved leaders appeared truly as gods and goddesses. The divine rights of kings and queens were the inspired leadership and the hierarchy of the chosen one. To his, the chosen people, spiritually developed, entitled a leader to a position of great power. There existed an inner and outer council for those few who attained initiate level and were given inspiring guidance and were given kingdoms to rule in the beautiful mountainous land below that was called Lemuria. Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. teach. Once out of spirit form and into the flesh of mankind, lives would be lost due to their own free agency. There would be a reason for many guides to come forth and reach the ones who would fall away. This would be a feeling of separation into outer darkness, and the mass would mourn. The reason for the attainment of knowledge was to become immortal, high priests and priestesses of the Most High. Each spirit had to fulfill his destiny if given the chance. Now was the time. The fourth generation of mankind. The brothers and sisters which had been before had lost their way. The guides who had come before had seen troubles that the flesh had presented. The guides saw that the free will was to be helped in a positive way if the preservation of a race was to be preserved. The understanding was how to see that all could find their way back to the truth. It was noted that the free will produced an effect, which was ego, a loss of memory of creation, and contributed to flesh. The guides would enter the flesh so that faith of what was, what is, and what always will be would be remembered. Their spirit guides would have to show the way. The mind in memory mode was fleshy, the brain made to house the thoughts. The memory had to be pure in spirit, a sense of faith of oneself. Self-image would not be decisive. Different and yet the same. Faith was turned into a religion for all. This would be the ones with a better memory capacity to guide those who were of short memory. This system lasted for many generations on Earth, and to a land we called Atlantis. most powerful emotions and purest of energies were taught. People would follow their elders. This was good. The illuminated ones still saw the fallacy in this. The general teaching was to keep the spirit alive with pure thought, while the younger in flesh and time would progress into the ways of the world. This brought forth the schools of thought that some may choose in the fields of their expertise. This would help others to learn of their perfection in a trade with art, skills, music, and ways of living. The race of mankind was becoming one of the highest in knowledge. This was a favorable system. The spirit was preserved at different levels. This was considered a mass way of teaching. Ones who had faith came forth for teaching the masses. The race was becoming more and more worldly, and the responsibility of learning became the responsibility of each individual. The lessons would be taught in areas that the light was the strongest. This would generate knowledge needed at the time by the most illuminated. The need to teach, a quest for wisdom, and the ones who would teach and go forth for guidance from the Oracle. Planet Earth was used in a universe by the guides who had traveled before. The guides would visit this planet, direct the motion of sound waves and energy waves with the crystals of the higher lands and planets and universes. Crystals had been left by the guides on Earth before Lemuria and Atlantis. This region of Earth was called Theresa. The 8 plates of the world moved. This interrupted the life cycles of many spirits and the citizens of Lemuria and then Atlantis, and they were spread. The next visit had been to the people in a land that was called Egypt. Egyptians were the chosen ones to answer to the rediscovery of the soul and self. This was also a time for memory of the ones who came in fiery chariots of old to impress the mind of the intermixed races that had come before in Lemuria and Atlantis. The sons of gods had intermixed with the daughters of men on earth. The gods visited the earth and gave knowledge to these chosen people, the gods of the greater higher council in the higher lands of other universes. This race would be held as the one sine qua non. Space beings on Earth. Descendants of the Most High in a land, a city called Memphis and Theopolis. Tibet. There was an ebony house in a gold mountain inside a sacred temple. A sacred temple in Lhasa, the temple of wisdom. The temple was guarded and protected by the abbots and priests of the land. A land of great mountains and seashores. A land where the race had been touched by spirit of the space beings, the ones many called gods from the heavens. sacred among the people, spiritually advanced beings. North America, the land of the American Indians. A kind people that was brought through the progression of people with a comely spirit. The spirit of the heavens. They followed the teachings of the Great White Father, the opening of the third eye was returning. The law of incarnation was making itself known. Many had not seen, yet many were chosen. Many had excelled. The Indians knew of the visitors of Earth and sought to praise them in song and music. Mental telepathy was a way of all. The animals would speak with not just sound, but movement. A language had been formed between man and all living things. Energy